Hello and welcome to episode 6 of the Mew Music Podcast. I'm Jaden Slaughter, and today's episode welcomes Nick Hall and Tandi Murphy-Hall of Triangle Fire, a band from Athens, Georgia. Thank you for tuning in, and if you'd like to support the show, then the best thing you can do is share it with your friends. Always feel free to cozy up with the subscribe button as well. It's cold outside. And with that out of the way, let's get into it. I guess jumping into it, I like to have the artists introduce themselves so you can tell us, your names, pronouns, what you play, and all that.
Okay, my name's Tandi Murphy-Hall. I go by she and her, and I am mainly the vocalist in Triangle Fire, but I also play like backup drums and just various fill-in instruments kind of deal, but mainly just vocals and backup drums.
I'm Nick. I go by him and he.
Yeah.
Sorry. And I said that totally backwards. I'm sorry. Anyway, I'm the guitar player and vocalist in Triangle Fire. Yeah, that's what I do. I scream and play.
And we both write most of, the majority of the songs. We're both the founding members of Triangle Fire, and the lineup's changed over the years. And so what we do is, we kind of take the base of the songs and we let the new members, or the current members rather, kind of put their little whatever to the song on the instrument that they're playing. So
yeah, so it's an ever evolving project.
Yeah. So even if we have a song that's been here since the beginning, it can sound completely different from, member to member, just depending on, the new lineup.
How long ago had y'all's current lineup?
We've been, Joseph and us got connected 4 years ago now.
Yeah, about 4 years.
And
that's our drummer.
And our bass player is like a lifelong friend from when me and Tandi were young, and I was trying to start a separate band with him, and it just kind of like worked out at that moment that I was like, do you want to play bass in this? Because anytime when like there's long periods, we always hit up the people who were playing the instrument prior and give everybody the option to just like come back in, but everybody had life obstacles is a good way of putting it. So they were all like, I can't do it, man. So I asked Steve, and he was like, yeah. So he hopped on board playing bass, and
that was about
3 years ago.
Yeah, about 2.5 or 3 years.
Yeah. So he's been with us for a good little minute. He's got a good handful of shows under his belt. So he came in. He's a really solid bass player. It was nice getting to jam with someone that I've known my whole life, so I kind of know the ins and outs of how they play, so it made the process a lot easier.
How would you describe your music for someone who's just completely unfamiliar with the band?
We've now come up with a new genre label. We call it pizza crust, or pizza punk with extra thick crust. Because everybody keeps trying to box us into like, oh, you guys are crust punk or whatever, but we're really not, because we play like all over the spectrum. It just depends on one song to the next, because like Nick and I were both like super eclectic and very easily distracted. So, monotony does not do well with either one of us. So, we have anywhere from like ska songs to poppier, to heavy hardcore, to metal, crust, and like everything in between. So it really just depends on the song
and the audience.
Yeah, because if we have a set list that we're going to play and we look around and they're just not feeling it, we'll change it up really quick just to try to like bring them in.
So what ways do you change stuff up for the audience?
Just pick different songs, whatever it seems that they're reacting the best to. Like if they're just standing there staring at us like, what the fuck is this, on our heavier songs, but get up and dance and move around and, enjoy like the more poppier songs, we'll kind of start bringing in, more of those songs instead of, just sort of play it by ear at that point on what we're playing next.
What's people's typical reaction to y'all? I mean, y'all play so many shows. I feel like you're probably around a lot of new people a lot of times.
Honestly, unless people have seen us before, like okay, so people's first reactions is like this. And they just stand there, and for like several years it was really discouraging because we were like, dude, they didn't enjoy it. But then we would get so much incredible feedback that we're like, well, why didn't they move around or whatever? And they're like, we didn't know what the hell to think. Like it was just all over the place. I was trying to just take it all in. But then, as people would start coming back, show after show, they would, learn the songs and kind of be like, okay, cool. I can move this way to this song. And so like now people are starting to move around, and it's getting crazier and crazier. As every show that we play, it gets a little more, I don't know, hectic. Well,
we have a very beautiful chaos about our music. That's a good way of putting it. It's a beautiful chaos. Like, we're not one of those bands that anything's really set in stone. We all play by, like, we're all very much by the seat of our pants for the most part, like all of us. So, we can turn around and look at Joseph, our drummer, and be like, let's play this next. And he'll go, okay. And our bass player is usually like, whatever, let's do it. So it's just, we like to see people smile.
Yeah.
More than anything. So
yeah, that's our biggest thing, is we just want people to have fun and enjoy the time that they're there. They didn't have to get up and come to the show to come see us, or they didn't, whenever they're there, if they're there for another band, they don't have to stand there and listen to us, so we want them to enjoy their time while they're there. That's our main goal.
Y'all played quite a few shows, it seems like, since the pandemic's been lightening up, after, the big hiatus everybody was forced to take. So what's it felt like to come back and start playing since then?
Terrifying
and amazing at the same time, honestly. So yeah, yeah. So it's no secret, like, Tandi's health issues, so it's like that's always been a major concern, and a lot of times it's just been like small hiatuses on the band for just various reasons. But yeah, it's been real, man. Like, terrifying in that aspect, but been amazing because people are just ready. People are, I almost want to say, like, punks are ready to love again. Like, they're ready to just, like, and I know that sounds really hippie-ish, but like, it's true. Like, the camaraderie that people realize that they were missing when that wasn't available to us anymore is, people aren't taking that for granted anymore. Yeah. I think people got, like, stuck in a bind of so long. There was just, you were a show goer, you went to shows, and it's just like, that was the monotony of life. As if you were in a band, you played shows and you went to shows when you could and stuff like that. And then, like, having that stripped from you, like, a lot of people realized, like,
how important
it is for the art form and the social piece of seeing the people that you love seeing there. You know what I mean? And it's, that part has been amazing, because it's like everybody's just ready, and just, if they're there, they're ready to, like, enjoy every second, because
they know that tomorrow it could be another lockdown, so they're like, I want to take tonight and make it last for the next few months if I have to.
Yeah,
sure. Because it's just all smiles, laughter, where it's before the pandemic, people, wouldn't really socialize with each other. And now you see everyone speaking to everyone.
Yeah, there's a lot less blockades and barriers. It seems like there's a lot more openness and willing to, like, put down your cell phone and, like, go say hey to the person next to you.
Yeah, or if the cell phone's out, you're recording the show and then you put it up, and when before you would just see everybody in the corner just like
Right.
you
It's almost like they're listening to music while they're surfing on their phone at home. It was really weird sometimes.
yeah, but
Yeah,
it's like Nick said, it's been beautiful. I think everybody missed that release and needed that release on both sides, on the stage and off the stage.
it had pros and cons. There's some people, some musicians that are far more like dependent on playing, that it affected differently. There was a lot of musician suicide. That was a really sad thing, man. That was happened a lot, especially in the punk and hardcore and metal community. There's a lot of bands that like they couldn't handle it, and it's the bigger bands too that was like their income, and that's
and their
terrifying.
Not only just their income, but their emotional stability is to be able to have that outlet, and then it wasn't there anymore. And so, yeah, that got real, it got dark. So it's great to have that available again, and hopefully to see everybody come out on the better side of it.
Yeah, for sure.
What the size of the crowd's been like since coming back?
That's one of those things, man. Like everything's a gauge now. So like you're still competing. So like in Athens, it's a big college football town. So like Saturday and Friday nights are not always good nights to play here. And it's weird to say that because those are prime opportune times, but most bars want bands to play at that time because they're going to be losing revenue due to the football game. So sometimes you'll play for one person, sometimes you'll play for the other band, sometimes the other band leaves and you literally play for the sound guy. Sometimes there's 60 people packed in.
Yeah.
In Athens, it's always hit or miss in football season. And that's the bad thing, is like, even if you don't keep up with it in Athens, you kind of have to like get our scheduling correct. So you can, if there is a touring band, you can kind of get them set up to where they have a possibility of making money, or it's just not worth it. Because a lot of people don't go downtown if it's game day because it's absolutely chaos. It's like the worst chaos ever. So
yeah, those crowds are no joke, just everywhere downtown. 'Cause I lived in Athens for a couple of years until this past May or so. So like I remember.
yeah, it's not fun.
Yeah.
So between that, most of any time we've played out of town, we've only played Atlanta since the pandemic, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, we've only been to Atlanta. That's what I was going to say. We played Atlanta and we played one bar show. It was actually kind of decent because it was really soon after the lockdown let up. So I was surprised at the outcome, but it was still kind of slack. And we've played at Sweetwater a few times, and that's always awesome there. But we've mainly done house shows, and those have been amazing.
Yeah.
This weekend we're about to leave and go play Tallahassee. Well, we're playing the Highlander on Friday, and it'll be the first time we played there since the pandemic. And then we're going to play Tallahassee, and then we're going to go to Greenville. So that'll be the first time that we're doing out of state since the lockdown.
Oh dang, y'all gonna go south and then north.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was awful planning. I know, that's how it got written. Sometimes you just got to take what you take.
Yeah.
Greenville's an old home away from home.
Yeah.
So I remember watching an interview with y'all from a couple of years ago, and it said that y'all were like half a Greenville band, half a Athens band. Was like some of your members from Greenville?
Well, our late drummer lived in Greenville, but he passed away a few years ago, and that was a big halt on the band. And so he lived in Greenville, so we would go back and forth. And then our bass player at that time came down from New Jersey and lived with us for a little bit, and while he was playing, and then he moved up to Greenville and lived with our drummer. So at that point we were half and half. So we were constantly driving, 2 hours for band practice each way.
At one point, it was Athens, Greenville, and New Jersey because we stopped and picked Tim up on our last tour.
Yeah.
So at one point it was like stupid. It's like, how do we even practice? Like me and Tim would practice over a cell phone, speakerphone.
Send audio files and just hope that they're actually practicing.
Yeah.
Talk about the DIY spirit.
That was a rough tour all the way around. Like that, and we had equipment breaking, fans break. Oh, that was just a nightmare tour.
Yeah, well, talking about you going in Tallahassee, I'm hopefully going to be able to make it down there on Saturday to see y'all.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Yeah, our buddies in the band is Schizo, which is husband and wife duo. The husband plays bass and the wife plays drums. And then an old friend of all of ours is now playing guitar for him. So it's going to be like a big family reunion for us because I haven't seen all of them in probably 6 or 7 years. So it's gonna be a fun show.
Yeah, and I'm really excited because it's the proceeds are going for like the Homeless Alliance down there. And so I'm like, that's something I'm personally passionate about. And we get to play another show on the 28th that it's to help homeless in Atlanta. And then we just distroed a show last weekend that was supposed to be to help.
Yeah, all the proceeds went to them.
Yeah, went to Atlanta homeless community. So we're getting to do stuff like that on top of being able to play. So that's been really amazing.
And which is awesome because it's the younger punk community that's getting into the activism right now, I'm noticing. And it's really awesome to see their energy and their like passion about it because it's like, man, I remember, I'm an old punk, I'm an old fart. So like, dude, these young kids that are like 15, 16, dude, seeing their passion, it's like, wow, this is like giving me that youthful feel again because it's like, man, I remember when I was this age and I was so passionate about some shit and I wanted to kick somebody's teeth in because they were crap. Yeah, dude, I get this. Let's go do this. And then I realized, I go, man, I'm like old enough to be their dad. This is going to be really bad. Like I'm enticing like disaster. And then I kind of just shrug my shoulders and be like, let's go. So, but no, I love their passion. It's so amazing. And it's such a natural high that like, there's no description to that. It's just awesome to see like the younger generation like really putting forth the effort and doing the DIY, helping the community, all of that stuff that needs to happen for just true separation of state. Like we all need that. Everyone needs that. We need separation.
Yeah, a lot of old school stuff is coming back and it's just been amazing to see.
Yeah, we're watching the fruitation.
So what changes all have you seen in the punk scene over the years?
Oh.
What all changes have we seen?
Oh.
Okay, so I'm pushing mid 40s, in which I will never say that again. But I've been in the punk community since the actual community since I was like 12, 13 years old. And so I've seen it go from like late 80s punks to all through the 90s, 2000s, and so forth. So it's gone from being brand new to being, the whole smash the state to the whole like
bang the system.
Yeah, blow up of the fucking like MTV and all of that stuff. Just the radio completely changing from its dynamics of the way it works, the way that DJs speak to, what they play, the whole nine.
Shit, what they can get away with saying on the air, man.
Yeah,
Like,
the FCC guidelines, kind of lessening to it becoming the state of electronics where everyone's on their cell phone and no one gives a shit about looking each other in the face, to the pandemic where it got taken away from everyone, to what we were just talking about a minute ago. So like in everything in between, you know, I've seen it go from being, you know, 200 to 300 people at every single show of all different genres, whether it be punks or skins or hippies or just the regular Joe Schmo and everyone in between, and everyone getting along and just, you know, partying and having a good time, to, you know, no one speaking to each other, you know, because they're just too elite to, you know, like I said, hopefully the old school mentality is coming back, or at least it's appearing to. That's what I've seen over the years.
I'm not quite as old as Tandy, but I'm pretty close. So, but I didn't really get into punk, truthfully get into punk. I mean, I've always listened to punk that like my sister's 12 years older than me. So I grew up on like the Misfits and early like Suicidal Tendencies, early Metallica. Like I just sold a Danzig tape that was an original Danzig tape from when that came out. I remember buying it with my sister. So like I grew up on metal up until I got really introduced to true like punk. Because I mean, like the Misfits is the Misfits. They're their own entity. Yeah, they kind of play punk. They kind of play a lot of shit though. But I guess my first like touch into punk was probably when I was 12 or 13, and I truthfully didn't like it because like the biggest things was the Clash and the Ramones and the Sex Pistols, and the Sex Pistols are a fucking god awful band that can't play their instruments. And you know, I'm sitting there listening to metal, so like I'm my ears trained to precision, and I'm like, this is fucked, this is so bad. Then you had the Ramones, which in my opinion every song sounds the fucking same, so it's like, this is annoying.
It was our bass player's a
Ramones fanatic,
yeah.
So like this is a constant argument. And then you got the Clash, which I might be the only human being on the earth that doesn't like the Clash. I mean, I just don't like the way Joe Strummer was an amazing songwriter, but I think that those would have been better country songs than punk songs, in my opinion. But they're not bad songs, but that's not punk rock. I don't care what you slice it, but man, everything changed the moment I heard Crass. And when I heard Crass, I was like, no, this is punk. This is the real shit. This is the shit that means something. And because I'm a thinker. I always think that there's a better way. I'm a very logistical person when it comes to stuff like that. So hearing that be put into reality in a song form, I was hooked. Like, they're educating, they're catchy, they're edgy, they're annoying, they're horrible, it's noise, it's everything,
but extremely talented,
yeah,
all at the same time.
I mean, you have a drum beat that sounds like the Beatles, you have a guitar that you can't even make any sense, and the bass player is like the only one in the band that has any sort of musical sense, and then all these lyrics coming at you, pounding you in every different direction that you're like, what the fuck is this? So when I heard Crass, that's when things really changed for me. But there's a lot less racism, which is a nice thing to see, because I grew up in a time where there was a lot of racism in the scene. I'm noticing that there's a shift in a lot less sexism. Women are being accepted into punk and metal a lot more and treated more as equals.
Yeah.
Because I've been in bands a long time, and that's not always been the case.
No, like you would be
female
surprised.
singers, like a lot when we were a lot younger, like most of the crowd would leave. No, I don't think it was.
Or they wouldn't take us seriously, and still don't, to an extent. Like all, you know, it's like all the guys, they'd be like, oh, they look and they see, they're like, oh, she's hot. I would fuck her, and that would be basically it. They wouldn't actually look and say, fuck, she's got talent.
Yeah, unless you were like a petite girl that was attractive. Most of the time, everybody took their smoke break through their set or went and grabbed another beer or went outside to talk to somebody. I mean, whatever. I mean, that's horrible, but I have seen a lot less of that, which is nice.
Especially being in a female fronted band.
Well, yeah, which is nice. Not gonna lie. I've been there. Anyway, but no, I mean, there's still a lot of work to do with everything. I mean, I think that there's still underlining problems. I mean, I don't see much trans like in anybody in the LGBTQ, because most of the places we play is very open to that. Like, we try not to play anywhere if we've heard that they're like that. And I mean, that's just
a
lot more accepted in the punk and metal community than really anywhere, because that we've already been the outcast. So it's like, oh, y'all are fucking weird too? Come here, open arms, come on in. Everybody hates you, same here. We're pals. Yeah. So it's like there was never any judgment, I don't think, really, in our community. I think there's still shitbags, but there's shitbags everywhere, so you can't really say that. But I know that has been a lot more an accepting social aspect than in our communities than it has been in like probably society.
Well, I mean, it is actually still a really huge problem, but we don't tolerate it that shit at all. So if there's even a hint of any kind of discrimination on that level, it is shut down quick.
Yeah, no.
Like, I will not fucking tolerate that at all.
Everyone's equal. It has to be that way.
But so that was a very long-winded answer.
But yeah, I mean, it's been nice to see those changes, because, like, I mean, it wasn't all. I mean, it was feast or famine being in bands a lot of times, and unless you were extremely attractive, playing amazing music, and had an amazing stage set, like presentation with lights and shit, nobody was taking me seriously. God forbid you come out and play like crusty punk or just start screaming your head off. And like, I mean, like, it's almost like you had to be G.G. Allen to freaking make an impression. And I'm like, dude, I'm not fucking shitting on myself. I don't care how bad I want to get a rise out of you. I'm not doing that, not because I won't. I mean, if you piss me off, I might shit my hand and sling it at you, but like, I'm not going to sit there and roll around in my own feces in a fucking, thong. Just because that sounds like the good thing to do on a Wednesday night. That's just not me.
Yeah, there's between pulling a Dillinger Escape Plan and pulling a G.G. Allen.
Oh yeah, man. Like, dude, I was telling Tandi just a little bit ago about that girl from Brass Against that peed on that fan. Like, I watched the video. I'm like, but he asked for it.
Yeah.
He said, I'll do it. He on me. I'm like, where's the problem?
Yeah.
I'm like, obviously these people have never seen a G.G. Allen show, because that was acceptable. That's you're still in the front row until, yep, there comes the shit. I'm going to the back. We're heading to the back of the thing. Call me old. I don't give a shit. I just don't want that on. But I'm like, but she just, I don't get it.
Yeah,
like,
I'm
there's
like,
all
I
these
don't
apologies
understand the big deal on it.
I mean,
personally.
And they got banned from every NASCAR stadium in the United States.
Well,
that's where they were playing. It was a
okay.
NASCAR stadium. NASCAR issued this big thing, and I was like they would ever want to play a NASCAR stadium. Just saying.
I was about to say, that's a fucking blessing in disguise. But anyway.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Sorry.
So just kind of, I guess, piggybacking on that, how's the Athens scene specifically changed over time?
Oh man.
The Athens scene, it comes and goes. Because it is a college town. It all depends on the year, the students that are here. And, we, our style of music, we attract a lot of travelers as well. And so, there's a train hub here in Athens. And so it depends also on if,
where the wind takes them.
yeah, if there's a lot of people just are coming and, stopping off in Athens, and how long they stay, and what rounds they, go in, because, we've had sometimes, where it's a good year or two where there's a collection of like anywhere from 30 to 50 train kids here, and they're kind of stationary here for a minute, and then they just vanish
Yeah.
one night, and which is not, that's totally normal in the traveling community. And then also it depends on, like I said, there could be 5 houses, punk houses here at one time, because the students are here, and that's just where they all group at or break down, section out off to. Or there could be absolutely no one, and Nick and I are the only fucking punks in Athens at the time.
And Jason.
Oh yeah, and Jason Griffith.
He's we've known Jason a long time. I mean, he was in American Cheeseburger. He's in Weaponized Flesh and Food Eater right now, which are both amazing bands. He's been around forever. Like he was here, like I think he was born here. And I mean, there's a whole town community that like you can get them out. They come out when they come out. I mean, we have a plethora of punks here that are like people that would be willing to do anything, but a lot of times they come out when they're coming to see the band they want to see, or they know somebody in the band. So it hasn't been like that so much these days. There's a lot of people just come out if it's a house show. Yeah, like piggybacking off of what Tandi just said about the train hopping kids. We actually played a show at Bombs Away, which is a house venue here in town that
it's like an activism house.
Yes, an activism house. Like they do work. Well, they used to do workshops. They haven't got back to that yet, I don't think, since the pandemic. This guy comes walking up. We were playing there, and he comes walking up. He's this old, like mid-50s, like train hopping dude, and he has these 2 young kids with him that are like drunk out of their mind. And he walks straight up to me. He's like, "Are you the dude in Triangle Fire?" And I just like take him back. Never seen this guy a day in my life. I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "I'm here because of you." And I'm like, "Thanks." I'm like, "Can I ask why?" He's like, "You did this flyer, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "You're heading." He's like, "I love crust. I love pizza. I'm here. You're the man." And I was like, "Cool, have fun." And he was like, "When do you go on?" I was like, "In 5 minutes." He's like, "Then I'm going to get pizza." I'm like, "Okay, do what you do, man." But like, he ended up like, me and him talked most of the evening. We had a good laughs and chats, and we ended up knowing a bunch of the same people. But his 2 people like got kicked out of the show, and he's like, "I hate having to be a dad to people that aren't like damn kids." And he just like grabbed them by their ear and led them down the freaking sidewalk. Though. I was like, dude, he just went like mama crust on their ass and fucking just like dragged these kids off. If he's spanking them when I walk around the corner and like making them sit in timeout, I'm going to die. I never walked down there, but I was waiting for it. I was like, if he comes back and says, "Put him in timeout," and I would have lost my shit. But yeah, piggybacking off of that, that's what I remember that dude so vividly, because it was like,
and that's actually kind of where
our in the face. What's up? He's like,
is that the World Inferno Friendship Society?
Yeah.
That's the only time I've seen you guys.
Okay.
Wow, that was a good
house show I'd ever been to. So I didn't know how normal that was or wasn't.
No, okay, so
wow.
So that was normal, and that was actually low key on a crust house show, like with travelers. But it was also not normal at all, because like there's sort of an unspoken code amongst like crusties and stuff, that like you respect the house, or you respect it to a certain extent. You know, of course you're going to go and you're going to do your fucking thing, whatever. But you don't sit there and lay in the damn floor and start pissing on each other and
it was like
throwing damn
they
whiskey bottles at the fucking band. And you know what I mean? Like that's a little much. It's like, all right, dude.
It
you
is
know,
somebody's
like,
house, man.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what, like unless the homeowner goes, everybody grab a bottle, let's tear this bitch down.
Yeah, then
if they do that, then it's like, dude,
then
okay,
you're lucky
free fucking
if
game. We're about to fuck this shit.
Yeah,
up.
then you're lucky if the fucking neighborhood isn't set on fire.
But
yeah,
yeah,
so
like, that was not the case that evening. So
yeah,
they needed to be put in timeout. Like, truthfully, I hope he did it. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. That guy was awesome. His name was Bob Rat, and I was like, huh? He goes, Bob Rat. I'm like,
All right then.
all right, Bob Rat it is.
Fun times.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. That was a great night though.
Yeah.
That was a great show, just all around from everybody there.
Yeah. And see, and I'm glad that they got that shit under wraps because everybody was able to go forth with the night and have a good time. And it became a big love fest when World Inferno played and everybody got to dance and stuff. Because if, you know, those kids would have stayed and it would have escalated, it would have just been a shit show. Because we've seen that happen many times before too. That is, you know, one of the unfortunate parts of being of the crust community is that you do have to deal with that as well, you know.
Yeah,
and,
most of them can't handle their liquor at all.
And a lot of people have, you know, a lot of like mental issues too, and so they don't really know what they're doing, and then they get drunk on top of it, or high and drunk on top of it, and so they're just out of their fucking minds. So you know, it takes the outside person to kind of be like, all right, let's rein in it a little.
Bring it on in, little guy. Let's calm down. You're out of control, Billy Bob. Come on. Yeah, no.
But no, that's not every house show.
Good to know. I'll keep that in mind as I go forward.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, just don't come to a Triangle Fire show in Philly. Like we tend to not do well in Philly, not because of anything. We've just never had a good experience there.
That sounds like story time.
No,
Oh
that's
my God.
Philadelphia is all, like,
yeah, the last time we played there was a riot, and we were like, I said, okay, that's it. That's like strike 5. I'm done.
yeah,
Was it because of y'all, or was it just a separate riot that happened simultaneously?
Well, it was a lot of scene drama that
Yeah.
was already going on. And because of our music, it kind of got them all hyped up and ready to roll. And they just thought that it was going to be a perfect opportunity to start like
Just
beating
completely.
the fuck out of each other while to our soundtrack.
Well,
And I was like, no, dude.
well, that girl, those 2 girls, those 3 girls, they were fighting outside before we even started playing. And me and our drummer, John, went over there to try to break them up.
Our late drummer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we went over there to try to break them up. We're like, whoa, 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 whoa. What the hell are y'all doing? And we got like close. And I mean, dude, they're like beating the fuck out of this one girl. And I'm like, whoa, calm the fuck down.
Yeah, because that wasn't cool, man.
Yeah.
It was like 3 girls on one, and then a guy stepped in and
Well,
fucking.
that happened after.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Well, like they're all out there fighting and shit. And I'm like, and me and John go up to them and they tell us pretty much stay the fuck out of it. It's not our business. And I was like, well, I don't want to get my ass kicked like that either. I was like, so, I mean, that's their business. And John looked at me and goes, I mean, I feel so fucked up, but we tried to pull them off. And then this guy like pulled us off and was like, you need to stay out of it. And I was like, look, I'm not getting in a fight with Philadelphia. Like, okay, I'm gonna back up a little bit. So they said, it's time for y'all to play. We went in and started playing. Everybody's all rowdy. And then here these girls come and they're still fighting. Like, I don't know how the fuck they're still fighting, but they're all still fighting and getting haymakered through the front door. And the fucking bartender just like steps up with this billy club thing and like starts hitting it on the ground. And then everybody gets in a fight. And like, we're standing up on the stage and like Tandy's on top of the bass amp. If I remember
I
correctly.
literally climbed on top of John's drum, his kick drum,
Yeah.
and was just like holding on for dear life.
Yeah, like, and me and Tim are pushed up against our amps, which have now been pushed up next to the drum set. So like we're just this tiny little square.
Yeah, it's
And
like
we're all
5
like,
of
"What
us
the
in this
fuck?"
tiny little fucking.
So we just took our, like, me and Tim put our guitars down. I'm talking like, dude, this is like shit you would see in a movie. And like, dude, bottles are flying everywhere. Then all of a sudden, like there was a huge window, and I look out. I was like, oh, this is just perfect. And there's a whole fucking slew of paddy wagons and riot cops showing up. I'm like, this
Like
is
in
just
complete fucking riot gear.
yeah, like marching down the road and everything with tear gas guns. I'm like, great, this is exactly what I want to deal with right now. So we start packing up our stuff, and the fucking bartender's getting pissed off at us. He's like, show's fucking over. I was like, no,
Obviously.
no shit, dude. Like, we're trying to pack up our shit, and we will get the fuck out of your club. We're not worried about that, but
Yeah.
we're not leaving our shit. And he's like, well, you need to get the fuck. I'm like, look, dog,
You're holding
down.
up progress.
I could already be like halfway out if you'd shut the fuck up. And he's like, fine. I was like, okay. So we get outside. We like literally, like, John just like bear hugs all of his drums. We grab our amps, just unplug them, and like run everything out. We're throwing it all in the van. And this cop is like trying to tase me because he thinks I'm a part of it. Dude,
I was standing by the back of the van. I look over and I'm like, Nick, Doc. And he just did like that, and the fucking baton went whoof, right over his head. So if he wouldn't have ducked, he would have been like,
and I turned around. I was like, what the fuck are you doing?
We're like, we're from out of state. We're just trying to get our shit. He's like, get your shit and go. Get
like,
the fuck out of Philly. We were like, we're trying.
Again, I was like, I would be done if you weren't talking to me and trying to hit me in the fucking head. And he's like, and he looked down, saw that we had Georgia plates, so we weren't lying. And he's like, get out of here. I'm like, okay. So we threw it in. About the time we're turning, here comes the tear gas cartridges. We're like, man.
Yeah, we're like watching that shit in the fucking, like, we're driving away watching it in the fucking back window, like, holy shit.
And we're like, well, okay, then there's another one. I mean, we've played Philly 3 times, and it pretty much, well, like 5, but like,
yeah,
it pretty much ends like that every show.
Yeah. Like there's shit
flaming
on fire.
Tires
yeah,
are thrown at you. I mean, it's a fucking weird town to play. Like, that's how they say they like you, is they light a fucking tire on fire and throw it at you if you're playing under the fucking interstate on the skate park. You're like, huh? you said that's how they say you go. Fucking give me a handshake, dude.
It's like,
Hit
we're
me
from
up
the
after the show.
South, dude.
Hit me up after the show and say, yo, dog, that was good. Throwing a flaming tire at me makes me want to get in my car and run that fucker over, man. Like, those are fighting words down here, man. And they're like, but that's so nice up here. And I'm like, this is not brotherly love. Like, nothing about this is brotherly.
It's like, no wonder this place is such a shithole.
No shit. No wonder y'all hate each other, man.
Yeah. But we're not, I mean, not talking down about Philly. Like, there's actually, I love it. I love it and hate it there. I love it because it's amazing, but I hate it because, I mean, it's just.
Oh, it's raw energy.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
for sure.
it's just, it's rough. But anyway.
I'll play it again, but if it happens again, man, that's it. That shit is dead to me. Like, that I won't even drive around, like, near it. We'll go around. Like, it doesn't.
The whole state gotta avoid.
Like, we'll play Delaware before I'll go back to Philly if it happens again.
I think that's fair. At some point, you just gotta be like, it's over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're done with this. Now.
We're breaking up now.
We're divorcing you. Like, I'll get on a boat and take a ferry around that bitch. We'll play on the ferry.
Which we've done that before.
Yeah, that's fun. Don't come if you get seasick.
Okay, so shifting gears a little. What's y'all's like creative process, right, when you sit down to write a song?
You want to take this one? Do you want to tell the truth with the noises?
Oh yeah. Okay. So Okay, so like I said before, I fiddle with instruments, but I can't actually play anything. And but yet at the same time, I play everything. I play keyboard and drums and guitar and bass, but I play with like, okay, so I'll tell Nick, he'll be playing something and he'll write something and then he'll introduce it to whomever else, or he'll do a writing process here at the house with just the two of us for however long it takes. Sometimes it's super quick. Sometimes things take like 3 or 4 years to put together. You know, he'll just do a little piece here and I'll be like, what if you did the ticka 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 right there, or the what if you stop and it goes dun 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 what kind of deal, you know? So he writes, like he does the beginning process, and then I put my input through like noises, I guess. But he understands what I'm saying though, so it's awesome. And he'll be like, okay, cool, I got you. And he'll be like, da 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 da, and I'll be like, yes, that's it. Or maybe just try a little more, you know, kind of deal. And so that's kind of how it all begins. And then we introduce it to the other people, you know, either halfway through or if it's completely done. And then, like we said before, you know, sometimes we'll have an idea of what we want them to play. And we'll say, okay, so this is what we're hearing at this part, or no, this is exactly what we want done here, or you know what, it's a free for all, just play what the fuck you feel should go there. And then that's how all of that kind of comes. And you know, as all of that's going, we kind of like, sometimes we hear automatically a subject of the song, like what we want it to be about lyrically. And sometimes we don't hear anything and we're like, I have no fucking clue what to write about this song. And but then eventually, you know, we sit down after it's all over with and do all the lyrics to it. And you know, Nick and I do all the lyrics. So
that's when a lot of the blah blah blahs and yada 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 yadas come out.
Yeah.
Like, because I would like go with like lyrical flow ideas of how like I kind of want it to sound, but it's like blah, 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 sound like a freaking like
a
barking dog or a muppet on like crack. Like, and Tandy's like, what the hell are you saying? I'm like, no idea.
He's like, nothing. It's just kind of
all.
What I'm hearing it should sound like. And then once the lyrics are put together, you know, it kind of goes.
Like, sometimes I'll have like complete writer's block and I'll just like go, I can't come up with anything. What do y'all think? I mean, and Steve's wrote music. Joseph's wrote, like Steve wrote Human Side, and he did something else.
He did the bass line for Human Side, and then
yeah.
I don't know. There's a couple of them that.
So like, yeah, I mean, like it's pretty much like every once in a while we'll like just get caught into talking at band practice, and like somebody will write a riff and everybody will go,
yeah,
I like that. And like, no longer are we playing a set. No longer are we playing any more songs. We end up playing that for God
like
knows how long.
Improv session.
Yeah.
And sometimes things stick and sometimes they don't. Or if something's really good, we'll be like, hey, somebody record that. And we'll pull out the phone and record it. And sometimes we'll go back to it and sometimes we won't, you know. So that's just kind of, I don't know.
It's all over the place.
Yeah.
It's not like, I mean,
we don't have a stated, okay, first we write, yeah, we write the lyrics last, unless we absolutely just either hear it as it's going, or I go to Nick and say, I want to write a song about blah, 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 blah. And then we write the song around that, you know. But, you know, for the most part, the lyrics are last, and that's about the only standard thing that we have set.
I don't know. I have wrote a handful of songs. I wrote the lyrics first. Like, shoot, I actually wrote the lyrics first.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, like Nothing Lasts Forever. I wrote the lyrics first too.
Anyway.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
Anyway.
But like, very seldom do I like. I usually write the riffs or whatever first, and we kind of like fix it that way.
So like the newest recorded music I could find from y'all, pretty much all of it was from like 2014. Do y'all plan on releasing like music? Like,
Joseph
in-
wants to kill us, I can promise you.
Yeah, our drummer right now is like about to pop out of his damn skin because we're sitting on like 17 songs, and we have all but one completely ready to go to, what is it, mastering?
Yeah, we're gonna send it off either to Black Matter or a friend of ours or Enormous
Yeah.
Mastering to get them to put the finishing touches on it.
But yeah, we're gonna, once we get them all done, it's just gonna blow up. We're gonna release them like in splits, in singles, full albums, like just kind of break it down and then combine them all together. So we're gonna have like a lot of different.
like our first release is actually going to be a limited edition cassette release with Supersonic Cocksuckers. They're an Atlanta Gwinnett County band. If you ever get to go to one of their shows, they are
Do it.
absolutely amazing.
Is
Yeah,
Ty, he's the drummer, and Mike, he is the guitar player and singer, and Mike dresses up as a female while they play, and it's like meant to be kind of a jokey thing. They like totally play off each other beautifully, as far like they chit chat and banter with each other throughout the set, and it is fucking hysterical.
yeah.
But then their songs are like amazingly talented. Like they're both incredible musicians, but to see them, it's just so like light and happy and funny.
It's so perfect. You would think it's scripted, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's like,
you would think that they would sit there and be like, okay, now I'm going to say this, and then you say that back,
like
and then
that
blah,
kind
blah,
of
blah.
shit,
But it's
that damn funny.
Yeah, it's completely improv because they're best friends, and they're just like, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, so we got a limited cassette release. It's going to be like an EP, 7 minutes per side. That's going to be the number 1 release. And the number 2 release is supposed to be a 4-way 12-inch split with 3 bands from the West Coast, one of which is our old bass player's new band. We are going to do a full-length cassette release or full-length CD release first. Hopefully go back if we can get some label help, or after we sell enough, go and do a 12-inch release. Also, when vinyl isn't 9.5 to 2 years behind pressing, because that's always awesome.
Yeah, because everybody recorded during the pandemic, and then everybody's releasing, so the pressing companies can't keep up. So everybody's like on back order
for months.
Yeah. So even if you wanted to have stuff ready for an upcoming tour, I mean, you would have to pretty much like marry someone to get your shit fucking pressed.
Because like the bigger bands are getting them pressed because they can throw down like $5,000 as like rush money.
Yeah.
Or like whatever it takes, because they already have that kind of money. I don't have that kind of money. But we're supposed to do, I'm not quite sure if this one is still set in stone, but we were going to do a 7-inch split with a band from New York called A Truth. They're an amazing anarcho Latino cross punk band. And we had been talking about doing a split with one of Joseph, our now drummers, one of his other bands, Eliminate Earth. So we got a whole bunch of stuff kind of brewing with this music. So we're trying to figure out which one's going to be the easiest thing to do first to get our music out there, because we need new music out there.
Yeah, I mean,
sure.
We're completely we're borderline out of all of our merch. Like Nick and I have to sit down next week and put orders in for just basic shit. But I mean, we really need new music to give to people, because we don't have anything to offer with our new lineup. And, I can see where that would be offensive to them, but we just don't have it. It's not ready. It's taking way longer than we expected.
Man.
Sorry, I don't know if you can hear our dogs. They're going nuts.
It's fine. Nice little ambiance.
A nice ambiance.
So your song has some pretty political lyrics, and even your band name is political because it's from the Triangle Shirtwaist Fire.
Hmm.
So what sort of political messages or do you want to get out, or in what ways do you want to inspire people with your lyrics?
Love yourself, love others, live life to the fullest, because 5 minutes from now is not guaranteed for anybody, especially for people at high risk, whether that be physically or mentally, or, like substance issues, the whole nine. We're very, very earthbound, earth conscious, activists, a very feminist, anti-racist, very LGBTQ plus advocates, just anything along that line is, what Nick and I are about. We're very, very passionate about, equality, pretty much. I guess the bottom line would just be equality, animal activism, just all of it.
On the political side of
Yeah.
it, though, that's going to be me.
Yeah,
because,
I'm not really political, aside from I'm more like whatever.
See, this was kind of where I'm torn, because I'm kind of like a red button dude. I'm like, fucking drop a nuke on us and fucking wipe us out and fucking something start over. Like, I'm such a misanthropic person that I do see the human race as a virus. So I truthfully have it. I love people, but humans in general, we're just not
Toxic.
We're toxic people. We're destroying the earth. So that is usually my standpoint on things. But politically,
Well, I was gonna say, with a side pin note on that, though, kind of in a contradictive sort of way, like we have children and grandchildren,
yeah,
so that we're like, fuck you, you try to push that button and we will kill you.
yeah, I'm the only one that can push that button, motherfucker.
So.
But politically, man, I mean, we need less control. I mean, I mentioned that earlier. I mean, I'm a very autonomous person. I know I can self-sustain and self-govern myself. I morally know what is acceptable and what shouldn't be acceptable, not because I believe in a higher power that tells me to do it, because that's just the nice fucking thing to do. Like, if you can't respect yourself enough to not respect your neighbor enough, so to speak, that's not cool. You are the problem, not me. And the control, I understand that it all, it's that whole statement, the contradictory piece is it only takes one bad seed to ruin it for everybody, which is so true, because not everybody can self-sustain, but we can.
Or self-govern.
Yes, self-govern. And sustain's a horrible word. So self-govern. But the thing is we don't need to be bullied into it either. And I feel that our government is a joke. If anybody thinks that anything has fucking changed, you're wrong. There's no politician that's not in it for themselves. There's no politician that gives a fuck about us. They're in it for whatever they're in it for. They don't care about us. And the quicker people realize that, the quicker they're going to understand that the true way to get through this is not vote. If all of us didn't vote one time, do you think there would still be a president? Yes, because they're going to put who they want there, no matter how many votes we push. And that's the way our government is. They're going to do things with or without our consent. And that's not right. That's not power. That's blindfolding us into believing that there's something great. You know what I mean? And I don't agree with that. And I don't agree with being bullied by any means. And it goes to, everything that I believe. we can all be peaceful together. Like, I don't need you to bully me into doing anything. And that goes for all of it, like cops, politicians. Like, I mean, I understand why things are there, and I understand that
it's a necessary evil.
It's a necessary evil. But like, you don't have to have cops like coming and profiling people because of the way they look. And like, when somebody says, I can't breathe, get your leg off their back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can let up.
You can still restrain somebody and not have your fucking knee into somebody's back and then they die. And that's what it takes to bring reality to the world. Now, I'm not saying anything about George Floyd's character, because you always hear people bitching about that. The bottom line is they were wrong.
Well, I mean, he wasn't the only one that this has happened to.
No,
So
but it's the first.
Issue.
But it's the first time that it's been like recorded and blown up to that thing. Because the same thing could be said about the Rodney King riots. They're like, but he was robbing somebody. Yeah, but you're trained to restrain somebody, not kill them. You know what I mean? What gives you the right to kill? That's kind of my bottom line. And like, I've sensed that politicians are killing us every day because you don't know what they're saying. But I do have a perfect way to fix this problem. I'm going to patent it too. I think if you're a cop or you're a politician, you need to wear a body cam 24 hours a day. And if you're fucking a US citizen and you have a social security number, you're given a password and you can look in on any one of them at any given time, at any day. No matter if it's a fucking president in the middle of a secret fucking speech that we're not supposed to hear about. You know what? Somebody heard. So it would make everyone honest, and it would give us all.
It would give everybody self accountability.
Yeah, and everybody would be accountable for what they say, and everybody would know what's going on. Because I personally don't like somebody speaking for me that doesn't fucking know me. You don't know what I believe, man. You don't know shit. You don't know how it is in the working class right now. It fucking sucks. So, I mean, that's kind of the shit I talk about. I mean, less control would be so nice. Probably improbable. I'm a believer. I'm a dreamer, but I'm not illogical. I do understand that there's some really bad people out there. And there's some really bad things that happen, and those people ruin it for everyone.
Well, even if at this moment the populace is not ready to take on that responsibility fully on themselves. I mean, I think in however many generations, I think it's distinctly possible this work toward.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think that it is something that the human race can work towards, mainly the United States. I mean, I think that we can find a way to get to that point, but
it's going to take a lot of collapse of a lot of things before that's going to happen.
A lot of dead fucking politicians, man. Some of those motherfuckers have been in there for like 50 years, man. They need to die.
Oh my God. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah, we get it. Revolution, not reform. It's cool.
Well, no, I mean, those motherfuckers, like, they're the problem. Like, they're the ones that are stuck in like the slavery times and shit. And you're like, this is still a thing? Like, we're still talking about this? I thought this shit was over like forever ago, man. I've never been racist. What are you talking? Like, y'all are still racist?
Yeah, that shit surprised the hell out of me during the Trump administration. Like, how much racism was brought back out, like brought to the surface. I was like, what the fuck? I mean, it honestly blew my mind. I was like, are you fucking serious? Like,
what the fuck happened?
Wow.
Yeah, that shit was crazy. I mean, like there's plenty of other examples, but I do specifically remember like vividly the like Charlottesville happening and just everything else. But like, that's just such a prime example.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, what the fuck is going on? It sucks. It was like, dude, where did this come from?
Yeah, it blew my mind because we are so extraordinarily not racist at all, to the point that it's not even a subject.
Yeah.
Like, race isn't even a fucking subject in mine and Nick's world. Like, our children are mixed, our grandchildren are mixed. So it's just like, and our whole, like, our godchildren are mixed. Like, everybody, we have such a colorful family that it is just not even a thing to us. And so then to like turn on the TV or hear about like all this shit going on, I was like, whoa, what the fuck is going on? Like, this is really still happening?
For 1950 just called. They want their fucking TV show back. What the fuck is this shit, man?
Yeah, I mean, it literally threw me back. I was shocked. But
yeah, that shit was weird, man. But yeah, I'm glad that shit's lightened up, because it's like, wow, like, what the fuck?
Still a lot of work to do, but hopefully we're continuing to move in a.
I think they're progressing correctly.
We've been on for a while. I don't want to take up too much of your time. So, last question, I guess I always like to finish off with, what's a band from your local scene or artist that you want to give a shout out to?
Oh man!
Oh Lord, to pick just one?
Is it just one or multiples?
I mean, as many as you'd like.
Oh, okay. Well, then that works good.
Well, obviously the Athens locals, like She, He, Food Eater,
Weaponized Flesh,
Beat Up,
Noise Mountain. They're good. They're really good. Oh my gosh. Vision Video.
Yeah. Oh my God. My people's Tears for the Dying.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was actually had Adrienne last night interviewing her.
Oh really? Yeah, she's a sweetie.
Yeah, and then all of Joseph's bands, Lone Deaf Pig Dog, Eliminate Earth, and Stone Man.
Yeah, and then
Beast Move.
and then there's a new upcoming band that just played their first show on Sunday that blew my fucking mind. They're from Atlanta. They're called 407, and they're a bunch of kids, and I mean a bunch of fucking kids. I think there might have been like 6 fucking people on the stage, but it's like old hip hop punk type thing. Like, it reminded me so much of early age Beastie Boys. It was incredible. Their damn energy, I wanted to put it in a bottle and keep it for my shit days.
Yeah, they were like a punk Wu-Tang.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
And then
oh man, I had like Supersonic Cocksuckers for sure. Oh man.
I am drawing complete.
Oh, the Junkies. Woo, the Junkies.
Yeah.
They're fucking awesome.
Yeah, I was like, what's my boy Sam's
The Junkies.
name? Yeah.
And
oh my God, what was the other one that just played at the
Whack.
Yeah, Whack. They were really good. They're a bunch of kids that we just saw over the weekend.
And our homeboy Chris at Catacombs, major ups to him for sure.
Yeah,
that dude's amazing. And
so really any and every single solitary band that is getting up and fucking doing it. Yeah. Nationwide,
man.
Worldwide.
Bring back the power. Bring back the power of punk.
Yeah. Anybody and everybody that has the balls to get up and the motivation to get up and face the day, face the world, and give yourself some love and do it. Like, I give you fucking mad props, because that shit is so hard to do every single day.
Yeah.
All right. So where can people find your music, and where you at on social media, all that?
We're on really all social media platforms that I know of. I mean, I'm still trying to get into that because I'm old. Like, I'm just now learning how to like work Instagram, and my friend Lauren is like patiently teaching me how to do Snapchat and shit like that. But yeah, we're on all of that. Instagram, Bandcamp, Reverb Nation, SoundCloud, Facebook.
If MySpace was still around, I could fuck that shit up. But that shit ain't worth a damn anymore.
Now it'll eat your fucking computer every time you open it.
Yeah, you type in MySpace and your computer just shuts down and says fuck off.
Or you hear that old like dial-up tone.
Yeah, but I'll give you my cell phone number. Like I'm still old school as fuck. Like I still call the clubs or email them and shit like that. So like I have a gazillion numbers in my phone of all these random musicians all over the United States and world that I get really interesting text messages from it all the time. So they'll be like, yo, blah, 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 blah. And then I'll like get a picture of a butthole. And I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah, I need a show. I'm like, that's not how you get a show. Like, that's not right.
Are
Yeah.
they from Philly?
No. That guy was from Michigan. And I was like, hey, yeah.
But on a little side note of self-promotion though, Nick and I are starting this distro that, you know, kind of like back in the day, you know, you could go to shows and, you know, you would see people there with like, you know, just
Like a mini record store kind of thing.
yeah, you know, and just like a little tiny yard sale shop type thing. And we're trying to bring that back. So we're doing a distro called Damnesia Records or Damnesia Distro, whatever. We're starting low key by taking it mobile to, you know, obviously all of the shows we play, but any show that will welcome us.
Yeah, will have us. So.
You know, we don't mind throwing money to the house to, you know, let us be there. You know, every time we pay entry fee for both of us and then throw a little extra in, especially if there's a cause for the day, that's no problem whatsoever. But yeah, we just, you know, we want to try, our main goal is to introduce people to all sorts of new genres and bands and teach the younger generation about, you know, other things that's not just so basically mainstream. And then to also network for other bands, like with, you know, we play with a band or we, you know, go to a show and a band's playing, if they want to throw us you know, something, whatever. I mean, we will buy stuff from them, whatever. But we will carry their stuff. So everywhere we go, their stuff's going. So it's kind of like a networking sort of thing as well. And then eventually our end goal, but this is going to be down the line, is for us to open up a small
record store / venue.
Yeah, like a stationary spot. But in the meantime, you know, we're just doing the mobile thing. But I mean, we will also do like, we want to eventually, you know, do online orders as well. But if anybody has an interest or something that they can't necessarily find, you'd be surprised at the shit that we have sitting here at the house, you know, because we can get, because, you know, just what we already have or the people we know or whatnot. So yeah, I just wanted to put that out there that we're doing that as well, because I think so far the few shows that we've done it at, it's really made a huge difference. You know, we've had a lot of people with a lot of feedback going, man, thank you so much. Like, we had no clue about half the shit you guys were telling us about, and, you know, just open up their eyes to a lot of new stuff. So.
And it's always nice to see like old school punks when they get like reacquainted with like their childhood record that they forgot they had.
Yeah, and they get all excited.
Like,
they're like,
and they like plug it. They're like, I gotta have it. How much is it? And it's just like this amazing feeling because they're like, dude, I grew up on this album. I'm like, me too. And like most of the time, it's like, I mean, it's really awesome because like I get to see a side of people like the genuinely happy side because they're like they got something that reminded them of something amazing in their life. So it's like awesome. That makes me feel good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all so much for coming on.
No, thank you.
This episode was recorded on November 18th, 2021.